podcast. Hey, everybody, Josh Tobat, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA, ready to rock and roll with all of you. And a very special day today because there's a lot of people today on this panel and next week's panel. It's a back-to-back format show for authors of an awesome book, which we talked about last week, but we'll get into the details in a little bit. I hope you're doing very well. Remember that the PGP podcast is part of the Fantastic Four Network. Fantastic Four Network with Super Saturday with Coach Hurt. If you want a cat that will help you, your scores, and right now you're breaking down that data, you know that your preliminaries came in already. If you need some more detail, you need some surgical advice, Sean Hurt is your guy. The doctors, Tammy and Shika, if you want someone that changed their culture, 2-3 letter grades in 1 year, those are the people you need to call. And do I even need to mention El Jefe? Do I need to mention El Jefe? Principal Cafele, he's doing some kayak somewhere in Puerto Rico. I don't know what that he's doing, but that he's out there, well-deserved vacation, Jefe. You keep on enjoying it, and all we're doing is we're waiting for the NFL draft because our teams are horrible, Jefe. The Giants and the Redskins are horrible, but in the end, remember that we're part of the anchoring crew of the PGP podcast. So if you want to be part of the show, please reach out. We need your help. This show is not a specific format. We have everything here. Last week we had physical exercise. Then we have bus drivers. Then we have superintendents. We have authors of this book. We have everything is here just for you. We are the Amazon of education because it's a one-shop stop for you. And I cannot do it alone because you know what? Yeah, you know, she's out sometimes having some hippopotamus burgers or she's having some hyena fries. But I bring you our awesome co-host, Dr. Moreno. ¿Cómo estás tú?
Hyena fries? You know, Josh, I'm doing great. I'm home. You see my spiders. When you see my spiders, you know I'm in Houston, Texas. I am home finally, and I'm enjoying myself. You know what, Josh? It's cold. I don't know if it's cold up in Dallas, but it's cold in Houston. I have the heater going on because it's too cold for me.
Moreno, remember that this is an international show. We got people from New Zealand and Ghana, but we got people from the New England area, and they laugh at us. By you saying that it's cold with no snow on the ground, they're like, silly Texans. You don't know what cold is. Come
Josh,
on, Moreno.
it's 61 degrees in Houston, and I have a space heater right now.
Did you know that the people in Wisconsin are laughing at you right now? 61 degrees? That's shorts weather. Shorts and tank top weather. What's wrong with you, Moreno?
Says the person who comes from Chicago, okay?
Oh, my Lord. That's it. You cannot claim Chicago anymore, woman. If you're saying 61 degrees is cold, those people from Chicago are saying weak sauce. Turn in your Chicago card.
Yeah, that's why they kicked me out of Chicago. They said, you know what, Vete, go away. Go back to where you came from or something because you can't claim Chicago anymore. But Josh, I'm having a great time. Thank you so much. And you know what? I'm looking forward because you know what? I have my book ordered already because I'm so into that book. So you know what? You've been promoting it, and I know it just came out. So I'm excited to have the authors here today.
Awesome. Yes, and we'll get to our awesome panel right now that some of them are out in Florida with a great conference and from around the United States. But before that, the Chinchilagua moment. Just a quick thought. Chinchilagua. Dr. Edo Eckert is like, Chinchilagua? How do you eat that? Is that like sea moss? Jeremy's like, what is that? Chris, I think Chris might know what Chinchilagua is because he's been on the show before, even though he's a Sooner right there. Chinchilagua is a Mexican game and Hondureño game. And what you do is during those festive times, you line up all your cousins against the wall and you scream, Chinchilagua y arriba, boy. And you run and you jump on top of your grandma. And you run and you jump on top of your cousin and your aunt. And it becomes a human pyramid. And you keep on climbing until it all comes crashing down. It's all fun and games. Until someone gets hurt. Well, this is my thought today. We're at the start of a new semester, and I'm sure, you know, I've not seen any teachers on my algorithm crying how much they dislike education. Because, you know, once you get that algorithm, it keeps on giving you that same thing. Let's not forget one thing as educators. Let's remember to have high expectations for everybody. Because as educators, we forget that we want to hold the kids accountable for raising their hand to get out of their desk, that they put on their name on their paper, that they math teachers, that you show your work. You show your work. I got you. Or English teachers that and annotating their items. Okay, got you. I got you. There's a method. Or us history nerds, forget about it. Us history nerds with our gallery walks. But that high expectation should go for everybody. Should go for your CLC. Should go for your PLC. Should go for all of us to make sure that we're consistent. Because right now we have the energy. Right now we're refreshed. You know what? We're doing those New Year's resolutions. We have a positive mindset, but we cannot stop that positive mindset after 1 month. Because what do they call the third week? I think it's called Quitters Week, when everyone quits on their New Year's resolution. We cannot do that, especially holding everyone in high expectations to ensure that, remember, we already passed the first Hiroshima, the first nuclear bomb. That was in November, December. The second Hiroshima bomb is in March, April. So what are we doing right now that we have energy? What are we doing to hold everyone accountable, starting with the person in the mirror? Myself, me as sitting in the chair. I got to hold me accountable to make sure that everything's running smoothly on our home, our campus at MPA in March and April. Because when they start going batty, we all know it starts going cray. 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. And if that gets to you, don't let it get to you. Turn it around. Mm-hmm. Don't let all that. So have those expectations, but be consistent. The second that you slack off is when you allow anarchy. A lack of structure is an opening for chaos. So make sure that you maintain that structure, holding everyone accountable so that it just doesn't maintain steady and live in January, but also in April and May. What do you think there, Moreno?
For the remainder of the year, Josh, you hit it on the nose. My goodness, you're right. Right now, everybody's relaxed and having fun. I was just at a school last week and working with some students, and you're right. These kids are right now still kind of coasting. They're just coming out of break. But you're absolutely right as far as kind of keeping us accountable and making sure that we are holding those high standards. Hey, testing is around the corner. I know we just got the results back from the December test. But right now we're getting ready. TELPAS and WIDA for those other states that have their own kind of English language testing. That's coming around, and guess what? It is down and dirty, kind of what I call it, right? So I just hope that everybody out there is taking care of themselves and holding everybody accountable. And you're absolutely right, Josh. It is going to be a very tough year come March, April. I did 6-7 with the kids, and they looked at me and they started laughing. And then they said, this is high school. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is not for everybody then. But I was just kind of testing the waters with the kids, and it was funny. Each school is so different.
It is. They said, you killed it, miss. We ain't doing 6-7 here. You killed it, dude. They held their nose and they go, So that's our Chinchilla moment. And you know what? A little refresher. Go back to last week's show where we had Principal Cafele, Principal L. We had Mr. Selders here, our board member, and Garland. We had three shows about taking care of your temple, about going to the gym. So check out show 7, 47, and 87. Those are all EduStars that dealt with their body, their mind, but dealing with a brand new book. We have these EduStars supernova educators and principals here on the PGP podcast. Everybody, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Like and share the show if you're out there. Moreno, stick.
Oh my God, guys, I'm super excited. I know some of you, but I definitely don't know the rest of you. So I'm excited to have you guys back on and welcoming the new folks on our podcast today. And just like we've mentioned before, many of our viewers out there know some of you, and then some don't know any of you. So I think it's important that we start off our PGP podcast with getting to know us a little better. So Dr. Edoeke, we're going to start off with you, my friend. Okay. Can you please give the audience a brief background about your work, about yourself, obviously, and then talk about maybe your family, your academics, your background, and your current job?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I love coming on the podcast. So thank you so much. My name is Dr. Rachel Edeweckett, and I currently serve as a school principal in Howard County. This is my 21st year in public education. It's hard to believe that it's been that long, but it's been 21 years and I love every minute of it. It's a challenge at time, of course, but I really am grateful for the opportunity to serve our students, staff, and families. I am also the president of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals, and there I get an opportunity to meet with lots of people around my state of Maryland, but also more broadly, and get a chance to find out what are the needs of school leaders and to find ways to advocate. I also am the mother of twins who are now in high school, which is hard to believe. My husband and I will have our anniversary in about 2 months. It'll be 16 years. So time is flying by. I'm very fortunate and blessed to have a great family. And right now I'm speaking at FETC, and my mom is here with me. So that's been nice to share that experience with her too.
How cool. How cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. 21 years. My goodness. And what, did you start when you were like 12 or something?
Nope. Started at 21. Yep. So 21. So time is rolling. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. It does. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to move over to Principal Black. Did you hear?
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. I'm in Las Vegas, so it is 3:11, and Josh totally messed up my Sunday fun day, football playoffs. But go Bills! I am originally from Wyoming, and I have lived in the South since I was 24. So I started teaching in Arizona. I moved to Las Vegas in '98. It's my 32nd year in education, and I have only been in 3 schools in Clark County, which is pretty unique. I'm in my 15th year at Lincoln Elementary, which is an amazing little niche in North Vegas. And it's my last year. I'm retiring in June.
Congrats.
So I am at the end of my MBA. I'm hoping to jump out into the business world, having knowledge of education and then business. And I'm not really sure what I will do. I haven't, one door has to close kind of before one door opens, but I'm excited for the next adventure. I have many more years, I think, to give, but I do believe that at some point, I've given all I can to education. So I'm excited for the next step. And I have no children, but I have 2 dogs, and my Yorkie is trying to decide if he wants to be in the room or not. So every time I shut the door, he's upset. And then I open the door so that's my dog in the background if you hear him.
Oh my goodness. They're like children, because I have 2 of them right here. Because if I leave them go out there.
But then it's like the door shuts and then he wants to be out. So I don't know what he wants. But anyways, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be amongst such a great, amazing, distinguished group. And I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations on retirement. I know it's right there because June is just right there.
I tell people it's bittersweet, but at this point, I feel like it's more sweet than bitter, right? Like,
well, especially if you're getting an MBA.
And just I think you come to a point where like you kind of truly know, like, hey, I've given everything, and I think it's time for someone to come into the school and take it up a notch, right? Like I've been there 15 years, and that's kind of it's amazing, but it also can be problematic at the same time because
I hear you.
Are used to you, right? And like we get complacent. So it's great that a new leader will be able to come in and build on what we have.
Absolutely. I was a principal for 18 years and I walked away. So it was time for you to let somebody else and take over.
So mine will be 18 total because I was at another school for 3 years. So, and 2.5 years as an assistant principal. So definitely tell people like, hey, you don't have to jump over to the dark side too soon in your career because you might get stuck there longer than you want. And it's a long, lonely journey to be on this side sometimes. So I always tell people like enjoy teaching, like that you can never have too many years as a teacher.
Absolutely agree. We talk about that all the time, Josh and I always talk about how the principalship is just a very lonely job. And the higher you go up, even worse, I would think. So, Dr. Gover, my friend, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. It's nice to see you again.
You too. I was just thinking about you the other day when I saw your pictures when you were in Africa. I was like, oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I had a great time. I had a great time. So please let the audience know a little bit about yourself and your family, academics, background, and what do you do now?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on the show. As always, I'm rooted in gratitude to share this space with each of you. I come from a divorced family, so I split time between North Carolina and Oklahoma. And specifically in Oklahoma, I grew up on a 300-acre farm on the weekends and in the city during the week. So that brings unique experiences with itself. And I vulnerably share that because as humans, we're wired to belong, to fit in, to be seen, heard, valued, and respected. And so when you're shifting and moving from rural to city areas and in a divorced family, you really don't feel like you belong. So it'd be no surprise that I was picked on and bullied as a kid. And education literally changed and saved my life. And so I knew from a young age that I was going to be an educator. My 10th birthday party was in Office Depot. And my dad still gladly tells that story without any shame or embarrassment. So I've owned the good love for a school supply. So I was a teacher, high school English teacher for several years, worked in school turnaround, school improvement, and then had the opportunity to move into leadership. I said I would never do middle school and landed in middle school. And it was the best years of my career. I had worked as an assistant principal in a really toxic space. And that led to me researching school culture, motivation, and teacher retention, which led to my doctorate. After serving in school leadership, I did serve at central office for several years and walked away in 2023. And now I work as a kindness advocate, working with schools, nonprofits, businesses, and organizations to understand that motivation and kindness are the thing that's needed today to retain employees and teachers. And I also work at the university here in Oklahoma City, serving new teachers and new leaders. And so I applaud all of you for the many years you've served in educational administration. And thank you for your service to your communities, because what you do is hard work.
I don't even know what to say, because you're just amazing. I look at your posts all the time, and what you do is so cool. So thank you again. And I didn't know you came from, a divorced family and you were in the city. And so I just learned like a whole much more about you with this intro. So, I just love you to death, and I follow you on Facebook all the time. So thank you again for for being here with us. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about your chapter and everything else. So stay tuned. Hold on to that. We're going to get to Jeremy, because Jeremy is just like, okay, it's my turn.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Glad to be here. Josh, thank you so much. And Dr. Marino, this is a lot of fun. And so many amazing educators I respect, Dr. Rachel Edo-Eckett. And it's great to meet Dr. Culver and Jen. So I'm in sunny California, and my background's a little bit different. I mean, everybody's, seems to be a little bit different. And I started off as a social science teacher, and I taught for many years at the high school level. And I was involved in everything. It's funny. I sort of debate, like, should I put this on my LinkedIn? The list would be huge of all the committees and things I was involved in. I'm like, nah, it's too long of a list. But yeah, I ended up going to, I became an admin on assignment. And so I worked part-time as a teacher and part-time as an administrator. And then I became a vice principal, and I was at a school with about 1,000 students, and it was a K-8 school site. From there, I sort of took on other leadership roles. So I became a vice president of legislative action for the Association of California School Administrators. I was nominated and elected for that. And then I went off to do other things. So I ended up becoming a president of the Association of California School Administrators for our county. And then I went a little bit higher up. I became a chair of legislative policy, and I represented 5 counties in California. And I was on the state ACSA policy committee. So I did a lot of those sorts of things. I started a podcast, and it sort of, just kind of took off. And I, ended up going into that space, started a media company. And so my leadership currently comes from the perspective of being a school site administrator, but also running a media broadcast company. So kind of an interesting background.
Yeah. You certainly went You got there through a very unique pathway.
Oh yeah.
But awesome. I'm super excited to have you here today, sir, and all of our guests. I'm so excited to hear all you have and why you wrote the chapter. My goodness, I just can't wait, Josh. I can't wait till we get to that portion.
But before we get to that portion, big shout out to those of us that are following us right now. The main man is on the call, Robert Hinchcliffe. Hey, nice to see you on the thread right there, my man. Dot McKeever Jeter from Illinois. Thank you. She is our number one cheerleader for the Fantastic Four. She's calling us always out to come and support each other out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Melissa Jones, Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu. Principal JL, if you don't check out that guy's podcast, you better make sure you check out that guy's podcast. That guy's on fire with that show. Stacy L. Joy, Clemencia Acevedo, who was part of our teacher roundtable from New York. Thank you for being here today. And my sister from South Carolina, that we're still licking our wounds, our Gamecocks, Dr. Sheikah Houston. Thank you for being here right now. Thank you very much. And so let's get started with you, Jeremy, real quick. This is a two-part question. Very simple. Because people need to know. You know, you author a chapter about leadership. But people want to know about you, Rachel, about you, Chris, about you, Jen. They want to know, what made you become an educator? What? Was it good? Was it not good? You know, some people, it's either way. What made you? And how did you meet Mr. Robert Hinchcliffe? How did you meet him? So that's a two-part question right there, right? How did you become an educator? What or who? What led you to that? And how did you meet him?
So I met, well, first of all, I became an educator. My wife became an educator first. And it was interesting because we were in college together and I was doing psychology and she was doing her credential, and she just had so much fun every day when she would, go and she would do her student teaching and everything. And she really inspired me to kind of switch gears and to get into education. I wanted to do something where I'd have fun and enjoy work and, kind of make a difference and get to serve, others. And so I followed in her footsteps. And so that's really how I got into education. In terms of, meeting Robert, he's always writing these wonderful books. And I saw one of the books that he wrote and he did a post about it. And I'd reached out to him and I invited him on our podcast. And it was amazing because it's when our show started to kind of get on the road and started to travel. We wanted to do a lot more episodes in person with people. And so we went out to Vegas and we got to tour his school and learn a lot about the amazing work that he's doing. And so that's how we met. And we've been, like friends ever since. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to know him.
Muchas gracias, señor. Muchas gracias. Chris, talk to me, brother. Talk to me.
Well, I always knew that I wanted to be an educator. So my path was the opposite of my parents were pushing me not to be an educator because we were going to have no money, you'd be broke, poor, homeless, all the things we've heard our entire lives. And so I'll be super vulnerable, friends. Math was not it for me. And so I couldn't figure out statistics, macroeconomics. So that business plan my parents had for me was not it. So when I went back to getting an English ed degree, that's where I found more. It wasn't necessarily easy, but it was easier than where I was with the math piece. But quick story about resilience. When I got my doctorate, I proved to myself that I could do stats by doing a quant study. So come back full circle. Yeah, exactly that. I appreciate it. So I knew that I wanted to be an educator. I worked in spaces that really were toxic. And when I stepped out of all of it, I realized this is kind of unique, not just to where I was working, but kind of across the globe. And that's really what led me to doing the work that I'm doing today. And through that, that's how I met Robert. And when he asked me to be part of this project and to write and contribute a chapter into this work, I was really grateful. I still am. I told him just some moments ago in a text message, hey, I'm like really rooted in gratitude for you for this opportunity. So yeah, that's my path to being a teacher. And that's how I met Robert. And just, I don't know, this conversation is really exciting. So I appreciate you.
Now, I just need to know, bro, where is my tap? Where is it?
It's coming back. It's coming back in 26. I had to take a break. I was writing a book in the latter part of 25. So it was too much, man. It was too much.
If y'all don't know, that guy right there, he just does the Jedi mind trick with me because he's on TikTok and he gets like to 10 billion followers. And he keeps on saying tap, tap, tap. And he plays this music that gets us all into it. And we're tapping up a storm. And follow that guy on TikTok right there. He's got it going. Jen. ¿Qué pasó, Jen? ¿Qué pasó over there in Las Vegas, Nevada? Talk to us. How did you become an educator?
Mucho pasó. So I knew I wanted to be a teacher from third grade. I had the most amazing third grade teacher. I grew up in Wyoming, small town America, but Mrs. Layton was just a spectacular teacher. She was different than kinder, first, second. We had fun. And she found the best in every student. She loved every student. And now looking back, I know even more she did because my mom worked at the school and my mom loved being a teacher assistant and working for her. So that was from a young age. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And how do I know Robert? Wow. Okay. Well, Robert and I are both in the same school district. Robert and I are on a text thread with another Principal Granger. We literally text each other probably 20 times a day. So it starts in the morning, it goes into the evening. We get into little debates. We get into, hey, did you know we had to turn this in? Robert's just an upstanding human. He leads at the most amazing school, Tyrone Thompson Elementary. And anyone who knows him would be blessed to have him as a colleague and friend. He's just a really top-notch guy. And so when Robert was writing the book, he asked, and I said, well, yeah, of course, I'll do it for you, buddy. You know, I'm not going to say no. But I think he has really great ideas for books. And so I'm happy to be a part of the More Than Just Principles. And I can't wait to get my own copy. So soon, right? And then I'm gonna, have him autograph and I'll autograph and send it out to some of my mentees and just really excited about being featured in the book.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing those stories and for your experience in education. Yay, 30 plus, baby. Not a lot of people get to that. I hear you. Moreno and myself, we feel you. Trust me, we feel you right there. Welcome, Haley. Eileen Couch was with Principal Cafele last week, part of the Milken experience for January. So if you didn't check out that show, check her out. Thank you for being on the show. Haley, Madam President, how did you become an educator and how did you meet Robert?
First of all, I love the title. Thank you, Madam President. I come from a family of educators, so I have always grown up in school. I'm one of those kids that loves school, and I did not enjoy summer vacation because I didn't get to see my friends and I did not get to see my favorite teachers and staff members. So I think growing up and having that modeled, my grandmother was a school librarian in the Baltimore City public school system. My aunt was a music teacher in the district where I serve in Howard County. And so I was always setting up classrooms and just watching them interact with kids. And again, I just loved every single one of my teachers. I was someone that always had talks too much on my report card because I was trying to control things in the classroom and I wanted to be a teacher right away. And I had those leadership skills. I call them leadership skills now. Maybe they were not interpreted in that way at the time. But, being a teacher is something I always aspired to be. I did not aspire or know that I was going to be a school leader, though. So that's a different part of my journey that I just never saw myself in this role. But now that I'm in the role and have been in for a long time, I feel like this role really encompasses my skills. And I just love serving the broader community. So I'm very, very thankful to be in the field of public ed. And I met Robert. I think I just followed him online several years ago. I love all of his content. And then we had a chance to finally meet in person this past summer at the Model School Conference in DC. And I had a chance to sit in on his session and he was absolutely incredible. I loved hearing about his family, his sister, just his story is so powerful. And so when he called and asked me to write a portion of the chapter and to contribute to his book, I was really excited for that opportunity to do so.
Thank you, panel. I appreciate that. And we're about to go a little bit deeper. We're going to peel back some more of that onion. Stick, Moreno.
You know, just hearing who Robert is from Jen just gave me chills. So I'm excited to actually, I'm going to follow him right now. I'm going to start looking into that, into him. I'm sorry, because God, your description of him, Jen, was amazing. So I'm going to start off with you. Okay. Robert spotlights passionate leaders. So he handpicked you guys, right? So as a passionate leader, what is your current why? And can you state an example of your why in your current role?
Yeah, awesome. So what's interesting is I serve in a school that's really completely opposite than Robert. I am in the North Las Vegas area. I'm in the, inner urban ring of Las Vegas. So the community I serve is predominantly Hispanic, high second language population. And so for me, I grew up obviously in Wyoming, small town America. And when I moved to the South, one of the most beautiful things that I fell in love with was the Hispanic culture. I just find it to be such an amazing culture. The parents are just so vested in knowing that we are the experts in the school, and they turn to us in the school as really we're the hub, right? Like they come for everything. So I live 20 some miles from my school, and I always have, but I've always gravitated to Northtown because I am needed there. And so my why is that I love the kids. I absolutely adore our morning opening ceremony when they come through the halls and they've been greeted by at least 10 adults before they ever get to their classroom. And they're hugging you and high-fiving you, and just it really gives you just such a good feeling that they know you care about them, they know they trust you. And then in specifically being in my school for 15 years,
Yeah.
one of the most amazing things is I also taught at my school. And so I have parents who I taught. So now we have their kids. And so when I tell the kids, hey, I taught your mom in third grade, the kids are like, what? Like, how? I know.
Yep. Yep.
But I did teach your mom. So like the generations of families that come through our school has really kept me there. And to be honest, I've never wanted to be anywhere else. And it's going to be super hard to leave just because of that, the relationships with the community. But I just feel like, the kids need us. And so the kids of the most vulnerable populations, obviously I'm not Hispanic, but like I've made these connections with these kids, and it fills my heart, right? Like I go to work so excited. I get up in the morning and I'm just so excited to go to work because I know that I'm going to see all my little friends on their way to class, and then obviously throughout the day, and get lots of little sweet love notes all day. So my why is just really, I feel that I'm of value to the community, and I work hard to build a super positive culture. Low turnover of staff, really shows that like that's what we're about at Lincoln. So I'll stop there because I don't want to get the nasty look from Mr. Josh where I've talked.
We're good. We're good right now. We're good. But you know what? I hear you, because I was there 18 years. So I was getting some of my little, being in education for 33 years. I had so many of my parents with their children now. And I'm thinking, they would come to me and they would say, my child is that. And I was like, do you remember when you were a child? Do you remember you used to hide in this little area here? It was so funny. And they're like, please don't tell my daughter that.
Yeah, I get invited to high school graduations. The other day I saw a student, he's in college, and he's telling me, I'm done with the CSN, College of Southern Nevada. I'm going to go to UNLV, Miss Black. I'm getting my bachelor's in business, and then I'm going to become a CPA. And so one of his former teachers, who's now retired, I had to text him to tell him, like, because this kid's just like amazing, right? These families. So it just, there's just really a lifelong people that you've met from such a young age, but you've been able to keep in contact with through the years. So it's just super special to me.
It's not often that we hear educators able to kind of look back and see what they've done, right? Because we
Right.
have them for such a short amount of time. So I tell people all the time, trust me, you are really doing miracles. And so awesome, and congratulations again. Dr. Culber, tell me what your why is, sir, because guess what? Robert saw something. So what is your why?
Well, I appreciate it. My why really is service. I grew up, if you're familiar with the adverse child experience assessment, where they say out of 10 questions, if you have 4 or more, you may have had a traumatic childhood. My score is a 9. And I don't share that for sympathy. I share that for solidarity, that maybe somebody listening or walking this talk today can connect in that aspect. And so teachers, and I need to plug to my parents to the absolute best they could with what they had. So I'm not dogging my parents. I'm just naming kind of where we are in regards to the research. But it really was teachers and educators who helped save and change my life to help me see what I was possible of. And so when I think about the lens of a teacher, like it's rooted in service of helping a community, as much of the conversation we've shared today. Same for school leadership. It's service in the aspect of service to teachers and service to students in the broader community. When I went to central office, I had the mindset that it was still service. I think that's where it gets a little convoluted depending on the central office in which you work. But I was still rooted in service of how can we make this better for students? Because I remember being a child in that classroom, in that space, who needed someone who was advocating for them in some respective manner, whether that be the building leader, that be central office leader, no matter what it may be. And although I stepped away and I'm not working day to day in a school, I'm working with future teachers and future leaders, but I do educational consulting as well. And I think one of the conversations that stuck out to me around service was a conversation with a teacher who said 60% of students are getting it. We should move on. It doesn't matter about the other 40%. And I really struggled with that comment because I broke it down, which for non-math lovers, I was like, I'm figuring this out. I'm going to get the amount of students it's going to be, right? And so when we had that conversation and I could point out specifically and say, it's this many students, are you okay with that? It changed the conversation and went back to service, right? It just has to sometimes be education rooted in service. And that really was a lot of my why for the work that I do, the why for my research, my dissertation, why for kindness, all of these things. And so, yeah, I think service is what it's all about. And it can get lost in the weeds for the forest and all of the moving pieces. But when we stay rooted in our why of why we got into this work, and for me, it was to serve and help, to heal, lead, all of those things. And so it was exciting to share the story and that aspect in the chapter of the book with Robert.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jeremy, how about you, sir? What was your why, or what is your why?
Thank you. It's interesting because if you look at the definition of altruism, it's really, I think they say it's to give back without giving anything in return, right? And it's kind of interesting because when I was a lot younger, around 17, 18 years old, I had an opportunity to get involved in my local community and to help with the fire station. And we would go out and we would do things like replacing smoke detectors in senior citizens' homes. We would get to go help fight fires and do different things. And that really created sort of a foundation when I was much younger for this desire to want to kind of give back and make a difference, and to also kind of be a servant of my community. And so it just so happens that I became an educator, but really, I mean, it started way back then when I was much younger. It was just to make a difference and to make the world a better place. And that's what I've always been trying to do, even with our show too. The idea is really to just kind of take and elevate messages of educators to basically share ideas with the global community. And so again, it kind of goes back to that. And it started at a pretty young age. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for sharing. And Dr. Rachel. I
was going to say it's always centered in children, of course, but as I've kind of grown and evolved, I've really focused and honed in on advocacy and using our position that we have in terms of being school leaders, district leaders, central office to really continue to push the message forward of what our students need, what our staff members need, what our families need to be successful. And we know, especially right now with the budget cuts and programming cuts, that's becoming a harder lift. And so I am resolved to working with just so many amazing colleagues and school leaders to continue to push that message forward that there are some serious needs, and we cannot say that we're doing right by children if we're not advocating for getting them the resources. We can't say we're doing right by teachers without making sure our teachers have what they need to be successful. We can't say we're doing right by school leaders if we're not giving tools and mentorship and talking about sustainability. So for me, my advocacy is rooted in sustaining the system that we have. And to have sustainable systems, we have to have sustainability within people. And that starts with our boundaries. That starts with, what are some of the changes that we can make that will make us show up best for everyone that we're serving? Because I agree with everyone on the call, the service, the advocacy, the volunteering, the altruism, all of that is a part of our work. But I'm really focused on how can we make sure that individually we are right, mind, body, soul, spirit, so that we're able to come to a place where we can really support the needs of everyone around us. And that's what I feel is really a challenge right now. We have a lot of people that are hurting. We have a lot of adults that are broken. We have a lot of children that are hurting, a lot of families. And so how can we work together to come up with some solutions that are going to put us in a better place moving forward?
Everybody on this call, Robert did amazing by hand picking all of these authors here and all of these contributors, because wow, they all have a different unique perspective and a different way of adding to the education sector. So Josh, this is exciting. I can't wait.
We're talking about adding. We like to add a couple of names for people that are on the show today. David Stack from Pennsylvania. We're very happy we helped you with that PhD. We got those people that you needed for that. Thank you, future Dr. Stack, for being here. Central Hicks, mi hermano from Texas. Saludos, Central, from Central Office. Thank you for being. Hey, you got to tell me how the new gig's going, brother, all right? And the teal glasses are in the house. The teal glasses are in the house. Miss Katie Kinder, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you, past guest and a past guest at MPA. She did a great job presenting PD to our family at MPA. So, as educators, we read all these beautiful books by other educators. And then some people say, hey, you got a book in you. What you can you write it? You hear those words, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
My question is simple, because there are people in the audience that have that idea, that squirrel in their head about writing a book or not writing a book. So my question to you is this: Coach Edoeket, tell the audience, how did you, young lady, Madam President, find time to not only be an active principal in the trenches, not all the other stuff that you do? We don't got time for that, lady. We this podcast has a time limit, all right? But that you're an active principal, but that you were able to author not only your book, young lady, not only yours, but I'm talking about this awesome piece of work right here. So how did you find time, young lady?
Well, it's not about finding time, it's about making time. And so if we are, like, I am passionate about writing, and I'm someone that believes everyone has a story to share, and time cannot be a barrier for everything. And so I do have to prioritize my time when I'm writing. One simple way that I've done is writing for 10 minutes a day. Everybody can find 10 minutes in a day. If you can find a couple minutes to go to Starbucks, if you can find a couple of minutes to go to the store, you can find 10 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes right before you go to sleep. But I would say if you can dedicate 10 minutes to consistently writing, you will have a book. I think the challenge is when you say, I'll find time this week, I have an hour this day, and then 2 weeks will pass by. Okay, I'm going to go on vacation. I'll try to write at that time. It's that inconsistency that really challenges authors to finish the book. But if you are committed to 10 minutes every single day, you will have a book. So I always say start small. You can always build upon that 10 minutes, but you have to do it every day to keep your writing momentum moving forward. And it's the same thing when I'm writing articles or when I'm publishing things. It is the consistent rhythm of writing that will help you finish your book.
Beautiful. Awesome. Exactly. Pattern of behavior. And just a quick note on Katie Kinder. If you work with EB students across the United States, please reach out to us. That's our bread and butter at MPA. Kids from all over the world. And she saw the magic that happens. Dr. Moreno has a consultant for MPA also. Reach out to us because there's great things happening there. I'm just saying, thanks to the help of all of these different consultants that have helped us out to help our EB students. It's not easy to teach Swahili, Vietnamese, and Spanish in the same table. Trust me, it's not easy, all right? So thank you very much, Katie, for that plug there for our campus. Jefe, I don't know if you kayaked from Puerto Rico back to New Jersey or you took an airplane, but rest. Well, thank you for being on the show, and like and share it, Jefe. Remember, the algorithm, Jefe. Like and share it. Jeremy, how do you do it, brother? You got rolling podcasts. You're going from here to there. How do you do it, brother?
Hey, this is a lot of fun, by the way. I'm just enjoying this so much. I'm going to be honest. I was probably that bad student, right? With Robert, he would send me like, hey, I need this in, but and I was sending my homework in late. So, but I love what Dr. Rachel just mentioned regarding, making time. That is so true. You have to make time. I probably procrastinate a little bit. I'm working on my doctorate too, so I'm doing my dissertation. So I'm trying to balance. Yeah, thank you. Trying to balance writing that. I'm close. Fingers crossed soon. But again, it's just the consistency and calendar. For me, I'm really big about calendaring things. If I calendar it, in Outlook, I use Outlook. I tend to follow up. So that's been a big help for me. Just staying organized, calendaring it.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. So let's all check out Jefe's guns, because yes, he did kayak from Puerto Rico to New Jersey. All right, Jefe, stop showing off right there. Dr. Chris Culver, how do you do it, brother? Because you're tapping away on TikTok or you're writing chapters. Tell me what you're doing, sir.
It's much like the response that have been shared here. I calendar a lot of things. I'm a list maker, so I make sure all of my lists are completed before I go to bed that day, or my email inbox is clear, like things that work for me that may not work for you. So you have to think about systems and organizational skills and strategies are going to work for you. Some people get overwhelmed by the idea of a list or an idea of a calendar event popping up. So if that's not going to be a solution for you, don't do it. Don't cause anxiety and stress for yourself. But it is, yeah, exactly that. But I remember the dissertation process of writing every single day just to get across the line. And so much like the conversation shared here, I apply that same strategy to keep going, whether it's with articles, with this book. But as Dr. Rachel alluded, like when you don't have that momentum or that practice of writing, then it becomes difficult to get back into the practice. Yeah. So just don't stop. Even if it's a sentence, it's a word, like whatever, maybe just don't stop. Just keep going. And like everyone said, you will have a book. You can do it. And I think sometimes our mind is what gets in the way. And so just believe in yourself. And if you're looking for cheerleaders, a lot of us here will cheer you on because we've been in that space. And that's what kindness does, right? We want to help one another be successful. And that's a form of service. And I love the explanation of advocacy. So in essence, that'd be advocacy as well for yourself and for others. So just don't stop and keep believing. Not that I was trying to land with a song, but that's where we landed.
Perfect. Hey, but you're that music guy I know. So it's a perfect home run right there. Welcome Marcella Ostri to the show, part of the Fantastic Four family. Thank you for being here. And another member, Principal Dr. Edwin Garcia, principal in January, promoting his brand new book. We'll have him on the show soon. Not only a new principal, new book. Hey, blessings all over, baby. Jen, talk to us. Don't be looking at the game. I'm not looking at the game. It's being recorded. High five. I feel you, lady. I feel you.
I wasn't. My husband opened the door, distracted me. So for me, I love writing. I loved teaching writing, which my teachers do not. So I will be happy to report I was the first one to turn in all of my stuff to Mr. Hinchliffe. So I just make time, like kind of like Rachel said, like because I'm not writing, I'm not doing a dissertation, I'm not writing a book. I have written in another book, which I'll talk about when that question comes up. But for me, I love writing. I write every day. Obviously at work, we write a lot, right? So I just kind of always think about like, how do I eat an elephant one bite at a time? So each day I just have my list of things. And when this came up, I didn't want to be the one that delayed it. And so I just, I'm a taskmaster, right? I mean, I'm a people person, but when it comes to the work, like it's on my plate, I'm getting it done and done and off and check it off. So I just really live by that. And then of course, because I'm doing my MBA, I don't have time in the evening really to devote a ton of time to work stuff. So just found some time at work when I had it and was able to work on it and then get it submitted. So I'm kind of that good student, like let me meet the deadline and not be on the list of late, turn it in.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you very much for sharing all your thoughts, those ideas that everybody's out there. Welcome to the show. Dr. Joe Griffin, Facebook Live podcast on Saturdays, early PM. Put the time, Dr. Joe, so that everyone can go and follow you this coming Saturday. Stick.
I just wanted to make sure I had some notes here. So Melissa asked Jeremy, is it quant or qual? Quant or qual?
Qualitative.
Qualitative.
I almost went mixed methods, and I had so many people line up to tell me, do not do that.
Don't do that. I would have been the first one to tell you too. So
Yeah.
I was going that route too, Jeremy, and someone gave me the same thing. They're like, buddy, 1 dissertation, not 2. That's all you need.
That is true.
But I ended up doing quant because I'm just terrified of qual. So anyways, so Melissa, you got your answer. And I absolutely love what you guys said, because guess what I'm working on? I'm working on my book. I should have it out again, maybe by the end of the year. But you're absolutely right, Dr. Raquel. And it's a little bit every single day. I write for Education Week already, so I'm kind of used to, doing some of that writing. But yeah, we'll talk about what we've done already in the past in other books. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I have some other books as well. But guys, before we get any further and go on to the next question, I want everybody to make sure that we like and share the show, because everybody needs to hear about how they too can be inspired by these amazing people that we have today. So great knowledge, great information. So please, please, please like and share and follow the YouTube channel, because that is where you can find all the shows. So please make sure you do that. So guys, let's talk a little bit about some of the main, and I'm going to have, let me start off with Dr. Culver. I'm going to start off with you, sir. It's your first time that you actually start off the sentence prompt. Okay. So give the audience some of the main ideas of your chapter. I mean, I know I follow your work already, but God, buddy, I want to hear it.
Yeah. So a lot of my chapter is about a toxic workspace that I was worked in, inherited, navigated. And it starts with the line of much of the conversation we've had here. I never saw myself in school leadership. I remember someone asking if I was going to get a master's degree. And I literally laughed. I was like, no, like I'm finished, right? Like I'm not interested in going back to school and do anything else. And I think sometimes we don't know that we're called to other things until those moments present themselves. And then it's that decision. Are you going to lean in and say yes? Or are you going to let fear drive your decision? And so I leaned in, I said yes. And what I learned through a lot of this work was what not to do, right? As an inspiring assistant principal. And then as school leader, it's like, don't do these things. Don't contribute this to the toxicity or the space. And so I share vulnerably what that looked like, how we navigated that, how we treat people. And kindness is the through line. Kindness is the through line, because my dissertation research found that when you want to retain employees, which I'm just going to plug, retention is the new form of recruitment. If you're not retaining employees, there's not this tree or this lake of teachers you're going to go find out there, specifically in Oklahoma. And I'm sure it's not unique, as I see the heads agreement right across the screen. So if you think you're like not going to coach a teacher or help a teacher, like that's just not reality. We've got to help these folks with foundational skills. And that's what we were trying to communicate is it really is relationships, it's trust, it's empowerment, it's autonomy, it's recognition. And as a school leader, you are required, whether you want to or not, to have clear and transparent communication. Because if not, people fill in the white noise with negativity. And that's where it begins to erode. Students feel it, academics stall. And we know to be true that we want to see academic gains. It takes 3 to 5 years. If you're losing teachers at a continuous rate, you're not seeing those improvements that you're looking for. And so the chapter talks about that, what we did, how we navigated. I vulnerably vomit all the things out on paper, in words, but then tie it back to research with kindness and the things that I found through my own dissertation journey, because the reality is it's not a lost cause. It's what we do as leaders. It's our intentional shaping and focus of what we're going to do with our time, our efforts, our energy. And when everyone's arrows in the line direction, magical things can happen, and it all benefits kids in the broader community. And so I'm grateful to share that story. It's not always easy to unpack some of those hard moments or relive them as you've suppressed them, if you will. But it was great because I know people listening and who listen to this later, they've navigated unique situations, or they will in the future, and it gives them a lifeline or resources to keep moving forward.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm telling you, I have my copy already ordered, and I can't wait to read. So yeah, looking forward to hearing all about your chapter. And I know the work that you do already. So this is just kind of gives me some more background about you, sir. So I'm super excited to have the opportunity to read it.
I appreciate that. And thanks for following my work on social media. I've said it a couple of times. I just want to say I'm grateful. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Dr. Rachel, tell me about your chapter in the book. Give me a teaser.
My chapter really just focuses on service. I know many of us have talked about that, but service to our students, our staff, and families, making sure that everyone has that opportunity to reach their full potential. And that only happens when we're working collaboratively with families, with our staff members, really corralling together to figure out what pieces need to be added to the puzzle to make sure that students are set up for success in a very joyful and kind learning environment. I'm someone who enjoys going to work every day, and even the small things, the hugs with kids, dropping in on them, asking how they're doing. Same thing with the adults, asking how family members are. That's a big part of what I enjoy most about being in the schoolhouse, is just that positive environment. And another thing that I talk about is growth. Like, I'm someone that always challenges myself to keep doing something new and different. So when people ask me, what are you doing today? I'm probably going to tell you multiple things that are going on, because I like the idea of getting a new experience, getting something under my belt, learning something from it, and then sharing out what I'm learning with my friends and my peers and colleagues. So that's something else that I reflected on. I've always been that way. I was a student athlete. And so part of being an athlete is pushing myself, growing, setting new goals, and doing new things. So that's kind of always been a part of my personality, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. So that has served me well personally and professionally.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, I kind of follow you already on social media, but I mean, reading this chapter is really going to kind of help me kind of peel that onion and learn a little bit more about you. So I'm looking forward to reading your chapter.
Thank you.
Principal Black, tell me about your chapter, ma'am.
So in my chapter, I focused a lot like Rachel, just I'm very much about the people. So the entire community, right? Not just the students and staff, but also all of our stakeholders, parents, making sure that everyone knows, like, I'm genuinely interested in knowing you on a personal level, right? Which I feel like elevates them professionally. So the teachers that I have at my school, because we have such a low retention rate, I really do know all of them. Not only professionally, but personally. And I think that when they know you truly care about them as a human first and an employee second, that's what really builds that positive culture. So I just talk a lot about, the things that we do at our school. It's not easy. I tell the principals that I mentor, like, this is every day, every interaction. You may not realize it or remember it, but they will remember those times when maybe they weren't in a good place, and your interaction with them is something that actually helped them have a better day. So I truly believe every interaction is just so important. And so I value that. I model that for my assistant principals. I model that for everyone, obviously, but I'm trying to really help develop the capacity of my assistant principals, because I am retiring, and they both will be eligible to apply for the position. So, like, first and foremost, we are here to serve and lead with, empathy and care, and just be genuine, right? And who you are as a leader. And I think people like that, right? They want to know, like, how you truly feel and what you truly believe. And then, you can get them to do anything. So.
I think a lot of people probably need to read that chapter that you're talking about right there, because there's so many people that somehow miss that part of it. They go to work and they think it's a job, and it's all about how do you interact with everybody on that campus, right? And so I think what you just described to me is something that I can probably tell some principals that I know already out there to say, you got to read this chapter. So, and I haven't read the chapter yet.
Absolutely. Because even in our own principal, I call it principal school, but it's principal academy. They don't focus a lot on relationships. So our new principals come out into the schools, right? And they jump right into instruction or whatever. And I'm like, they're not going to do that. And then, a year later, they're struggling because they didn't take the time to get to know the people before they even trust you. So they don't believe in your vision. So it's, to me, culture's everything. So as John Gordon said, it's not one thing, it's everything.
Yeah.
So that's truly what I live by as a leader.
Awesome. I'm already thinking about some people that probably need to read that chapter. So thank you so much for sharing and actually writing that portion, because again, many people don't really pay attention to those relationships and they need to. So awesome. Jeremy, let's round off the question with you, sir. Give me a little teaser. What am I going to read?
Yeah, thank you. So it's interesting because I really feel like one of the big commonalities between, myself and Robert and Dr. Rachel, and I think a lot of the people that were in the book, is just that focus on relationships. That's really huge for me. I think if you're a school leader and you focus on relationships, it's absolutely critical to helping with success of your school and to leading. One of the themes though, too, I kind of, for me with my chapter was kind of coming from my pathway as an educator, as a former school site administrator. And that was, I was involved in a lot of different things. And it's busy. You're busy being a school site leader. But I kind of urged, the readers that, if you feel called upon to, serve beyond your job description, if you feel compelled to do that, I urge people to lean into it, whether it be, writing a book and, or maybe even teaching a college class, if you can do that, or being a part of an organization with other school administrators. I encourage people to do that, because I think we have a lot of skills as, school site leaders, and you can help, again, benefit your community and benefit others by taking on some of those extra leadership roles.
Absolutely. I hear you with that. And it's true. It kind of even rounds you off better as well, right? When you are into these different other spaces. So, I mean, it's just amazing. I can't wait to get a copy of my book, because just listening to all of you guys, it's like, I want to read this chapter. I want to read that chapter. So I'm just excited, Josh. Oh my goodness. And you know what? I didn't even hear about your chapter, sir.
Nah, you can read it in the book. We're at the end of the podcast, guys. Before we get into the lightning round, 2 quick little questions before we get into the lightning round. And let me tell you, it's all about those connections. You see, I tried to copy Dr. Edo Eckert, President Edo Eckert, because I saw her racing kids and speeding past them. And I tried that. Then I pulled a hamstring. I pulled my calf got pulled. Then I had to have the defibrillator because I took 10 steps. and I go, no. Miss President, I will not at all ever again.
Josh, I told you I'm retired. I no longer run with the kids. I have to do alternates. We had the same experience. I'm finished with that.
I love it. Charlie Peck, future guest on the podcast, past guest. Also, thank you for being here. Yes, Charlie, it's a great book, and we'll be having you for the North Carolina NCMLE conference in a couple of weeks. We're going to have you here again promoting that beautiful conference. Let's finish it off real quick. And it's going to your, I'm not AI. I still have yet to use ChatGPT. I'm sorry. Go into your card catalog, go back into your abacus, and find out and tell people real quick. There was a moment that in your brain you said, this is why I'm an educator. There was one event. There was a kid, a mom. There was something that either as a teacher, either as an AP, as a principal, as a coach, there was one, all of us had that one thing. And some of us have had tons of them that just solidify, the idea that, yeah, baby, I got the spiritual pop because that kid told me that. It's about that pop. When you hear your the band, and all the lights turn off and your band comes up, we all get a pop. Or your favorite wrestler, he comes out with their music. There's always a pop. Jen, what was your experience that solidified your love for it? And are you working on any other projects right now besides retiring? Are there any other projects you're working on?
So my pop was back to my third grade teacher. I mean, that just really solidified my career path. My only project I'm working on is my MBA. And so I'm like 3 weeks away from completion. I'm doing the capstone project with my team. We are doing a business plan for a digital media marketing business. So I'm completely outside of my element. I've learned a lot. And I also know I hate accounting. So I won't be taking on any future job with accounting.
Got it. Jeremy, what was the pop? And what are you doing next?
It is hard to pick one. There's so many amazing students. There's so many amazing moments, right? That, stick with you. But I had a unique experience. Back when I was a school site administrator, I had a secretary. She came to my office. She says, "Mr. Brooks, there's this person on the phone and he says he knows you and wants to talk to you. Should I put him through?" I said, "I'm not sure who it is, but go ahead, put him through." And it turns out it was my 7th grade teacher. And it was yes. It was my 7th grade teacher from when I was in junior high. And I taught his daughter. And he found out that I became a school site administrator. And he reached out but I get on the phone and hello, not knowing who it's going to be. And, sometimes you get some tough calls. But I say hello and it's Mr. Murphy. And he said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you that you basically made the right decision becoming an educator." And that really stuck with me, because I looked up to Mr. Murphy. And so that was an amazing moment. Yeah.
What do you got next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda, my goodness.
His dissertation.
Yes, that's what it is.
I can tell you because I was there. I've been in your shoes.
Fingers crossed by April, March. I got to finish it.
You defend in March?
For me personally, that's my goal.
Okay.
We'll see.
If you need
Jeremy,
anything, I'm here to help you.
Thank you.
Can you coach me? You keep on using that title. What is that? What was the title that you just said?
The title?
No, negative. I'm saying about your position.
Brooks Broadcasting.
No, Nick, I'm not expressing myself correctly. You just said that you were this. What was that title?
Oh, I was a vice principal at the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
what was the other thing that you used? What was the other title?
I was I was a teacher before, and I had his daughter as a student.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, brother. No, that's fine. It's me. I just get things in my head right there. Chris, ¿qué pasó?
So the moment for me that it all kind of connected, I mean, I had moments as a teacher, but there was this moment I was in a really dark space of like, is this even worth it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I got moved back to a campus after Labor Day that had used triple-digit suspensions in the first 4 weeks of school. So the place is on fire. Like, it is on fire. And I know that we know that when you look for problems, you find problems. When you look for good, you find good. And so I launched what I called the 7th grade student of the week. And I would reward students for their behavior. Teachers would nominate them. We were doing anything we could to find the successes in our school. And there was a student, when the teachers nominated him, they said, "This student is the student of the week." And I full stop, like it just came out. I was like, there's no way in hell this kid's getting the award. Like, there's no way, right? Because he had enough frequent flyer miles to my office. Like, he was doing round world trip. Like that. And his mom and I were on texting basis. So, like this is how it was. But what I also realized when I drove home that day is that's not fair. Those teachers saw moments of brilliance that I didn't get to see because I was on the other side of not seeing all the things they're seeing. So when I came back to school the next day, I said, "You know what, you're right. This kid is the student of the week." And so when I went to that class that Friday to award that student, you could hear a pin drop when I said his name, and he came up with tears in his eyes, and he looks at me, he's like, "There's no way in hell, Culver, I got this award." And I said, "You did. Like, you earned this. Your teacher saw it." And when I sent it to his mom, she said, this is what it's about. Like, I knew he had it in him. And Dr. Brad Johnson tells us that some kids need a chance to shine. Some need a second, third, and fourth chance to shine. And it was in that moment, it all connected for me. And we have to be the anchors, the lights of hope, whatever it may be, because every day may not be a great day, but let me tell you what, there's something great in every single day. And it's our responsibility to see it and to see it in children. And so that moment stays with me. When the darkness comes, that moment's what keeps me finding light. And so, yeah, reach out. We're always here to be your cheerleader. You're not in this work alone. It's hard, it's heavy because it's rooted in service, but you're called for a reason, either to help somebody else or there to help you, and just keep being the light. Sometimes the light you're looking for is one that you carry on the inside. And that's the project that I'm working on. I just finished writing the book, Be the Light. I also have a children's book coming out this year with a leadership extension with a course. And I have a podcast coming up starting called The Science of Kindness. So we are pumping kindness into this world like nobody's business. I appreciate all the love and support as always.
Woo!
We need that kindness all over the place.
We got a Ric Flair right there. Woo! Love it right there. Madam President, talk to us.
First of all, I'm really excited for all the great things everyone has coming up. Congratulations, everybody. I apologize because I probably have to go soon. My mom and I have reservations for dinner tonight. But really quickly, part of my aha moment as a leader, or really as a teacher, happened my first year, 21 years ago. I was a new teacher. I started in the very middle of the year, which is a hard lift for anybody to start, because you don't start the school year off with your students and families. So it was a lot of trust that needed to be built in a very quick amount of time. And at that time, I was their fourth teacher of the school year, just by January. And these were kindergarten students. So there was a lot of work to be done. But one of the things that stuck out to me my first year was I had a family where my colleagues said that that parent would never come to a parent-teacher conference. They had never been before for the older sibling, so don't even worry about asking for the younger sibling. And it just didn't sit right with me. I know they were well-meaning and well-intentioned, but I intended to meet all of my families, especially because I had just started the month earlier. And so I called the parent on the phone and I said, I would like you to come to the conference. Are you planning to come? And she said, no, she wasn't planning to come. And I could have stopped the conversation right there, but I asked her why. Why aren't you able to come? We want to see you. And she said, I cannot come because I don't have a car. Now, this is before virtual conferences and all the different accommodations that we do. And I said, if there's a way for us to come to get you to this conference, will you come? And she said, yes, I will. So I remember walking down to my principal's office, my first couple weeks on the job. I said, I have a parent who wants to come to this conference. She has an older son as well. Is there a way that we can get her to school? And my principal worked with me and said, if she promises to come, we will pay for a cab to pick her up, to bring her to our school, and to take her back home at the conclusion of her conferences. And I said, okay, let me call mom and make sure that she'll agree to it. And she did. And she never missed a conference moving forward because that was the agreement that we had. And so even though I was in my first year of teaching, that taught me the power of advocacy, that taught me the power of listening, that taught me the power of figuring out what the barriers are and trying to reach them and working with people. Like, that's where I saw the power of a principal. If my first principal would have said, no, I'm not doing it, I would have been a little bit stuck. But she continued to advocate and work with the family and me, and we got it done. So that really taught me a lot about what's possible, how we can support families and kids, how we can improve relationships simply by asking questions of what do you need and following through to support them. So that's something that has stuck with me for 20 some years, and it's going to continue to serve as that foundation for me. I call myself a squeaky wheel. My staff knows I will be a squeaky wheel. If there's something we need, I'm going to keep asking for it and being a little needle to get there until we get what we need. And I'm okay with that. That's how I sleep at night.
What you got next in the books?
Well, tomorrow I'm doing a presentation, Boundaries Before Burnout at FETC, and I'll be speaking the next day, two more sessions that I'm really excited about. This is just going to be a great year, 2026. I'm very much looking forward to continuing to learn and grow and meeting new people and popping up wherever.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Before you take off, you got anything to plug there, Dr. Odoek, and any of your books, anything?
Well, Dr. Culver mentioned my co-writer, who's amazing, Dr. Brad Johnson, Relational Intelligence. That's our new book, and it really is focused on relationships and centering people in everything that we do. And so I'm always going to plug that book. And I have a podcast as well, Sundays after your podcast, Josh, 7 p.m. EST with Teacher Goals, called Strong Start Sundays for School Leaders. And so we really just appreciate that opportunity to build a community of school leaders live twice a month, just twice a month.
Love it, love it. If you gotta go with moms, you go do that.
Yes.
That Florida time. Thank you for giving us some.
Thank you for having us. I love the conversation, everyone, and congratulations. And thanks everybody for watching, and keep doing great things in 2026.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you. Jeremy.
See you online.
Anything to plug, Jeremy?
All right. I would just say the book, purchase that book if you can. I highly recommend it. More than just principles. There's so many amazing educators in there. I've been reading it, and I've been giving them out. Those were the Christmas gifts this year to everybody I knew. So, I highly recommend that. That's Robert's done some posts about like, hey, this is some good PD. I totally agree. I could see, admin teams reading that. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So, just plugging that. Follow all these amazing educators on this panel. I know I follow many of you, and I love the posts and the updates. And so I would just also encourage you to follow everybody on the panel, because again, you'll be able to see some amazing updates.
Cool.
Thanks.
Jen, what you got? You got it? Jen?
I already shared, didn't I?
Yeah, did you? Or anything to
Anything
to promote? Anything to promote?
Oh, I don't have a book, but I would promote this book. She Leads. It's a book that was written a few years ago. Dr. Rachel George and Dr. Miley Stallone, they wanted a book about women leaders, right? Because oftentimes everything is kind of just generic. So I wrote a little vignette in here about self-confidence. It's a great book. It's an easy read. So if you know any female leaders, the She Leads is an amazing book, and gives some perspective on the struggles that women have had in leadership and how they've overcome that. So I wrote that small section on self-confidence and overcoming some of the challenges that we have with being a new leader, and kind of wondering, like, am I supposed to be here? And you are, you're hired for the job, you got it. And you have to work on building that self-confidence by just taking lots of risks, putting yourself out there, making it happen. And that's how you build and grow self-confidence.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Chris, what you got? What you got to tell the audience about?
So I have tons and tons of resources on my website. I put out content all the time on social media, whether it be videos or static graphics or infographics or whatever it may be. They're applicable to leadership. They're sometimes for teachers, but I'm on the philosophy that you don't need a title to lead, that when you choose kindness, the right people will follow. So a lot of the things can be contributed to that. Specifically, a lot of the content I have with books and workbooks, all that come down the latter part of January, beginning of February, even some in March, just totally being transparent there. But all things are on my website at www.drchrisculver.com. All social media channels at Dr. Chris Culver. So check it out, because it can feel lonely. It can feel lonely in this work where you feel like you don't have a resource or someone to lean on. And that's what all of us in this space are trying to show, that we are your cheerleader. We are a resource. We are a confidant. So thanks for all of you for what you do. And thanks for allowing me to be a part of the conversation tonight. I'm incredibly grateful.
Very cool. And just a reminder, everybody out there, the purpose of today's and next week's show, more than just principals, 15 administrators, great stories right there, all for you. Check it out. And also like to plug the other book that I help out with, Barbara Bray. She is in Florida right now. Chapter 23, yours truly, 23 stories by 23 educators. Check that out. We are a Fundamental 5 campus. Sean Kane on how to provide professional development. This is my Bible for the NPA Jaguars. This is a great leader right here, Sean. And Superintendent Glenn Robbins from New Jersey has offered these two books. One with Danny Barr, our guest, I think 3 weeks ago. It's all about the calm and the chaos. Right now there's calm, but you know that chaos is coming when you're doing all that testing. So if you want to know about leadership and the Stoics, this one right here. And if you want to know, there's a dark part of education. where people put barriers for us. They'll lock you out of positions. You get blackballed. And so he connects that with musicians that were told. There was this guy that knows how to play the guitar a little bit, Jimi Hendrix. He was told he would never be successful. Go figure, huh? Moreno, last question before we get into the lightning round.
All righty, guys. We're going to start off with Jeremy. Jeremy, this is really quick. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh, 5 years. Just our show growing, being a part of that, and just proud to be doing the education talk show and then Brooks Broadcasting, just seeing it grow. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna leave Jen to the last because I already know what she's already thinking. So we're gonna keep her to the last. Chris, what do you do in 5 years?
Well, I'm rooted in helping, healing, serving, and leading, and I don't know what that looks like, but I'm rooted in the science of kindness. So I hope in the next 5 years we're an international workspace of some kind of kind place, and human decency is back. But that's what our goal is, to make human decency go viral and be kind.
In the next 5 years, buddy, we're gonna need a lot of that. So
yeah, we are.
And Principal Black, tell me what are you gonna do? Because in 6 months you'll be retired. So what do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
Well, I'll still be serving. It'll just be in a different capacity. So I think I'll be in some sort of a position in the business world, in human resources, or something very people-centered. That's obviously my strength, and it'll just be in a different capacity than education.
Josh, I just had a great time today. I mean, these people were amazing. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And guess what? We're not done yet, because now it's the Échale Ganas time.
Échale Ganas. Échale Ganas. This is why it's called the PGP podcast, G for Ganas. It is the only thing that connects all Hispanics. It is the only monolith word that connects Bolivianos con El Salvadoreños, con Mexicanos, con Puertorriqueños. It connects us all. Other than that, trust me, we don't connect. Our languages are totally different speeds. Our words totally mean different in other languages. It's all Spanish, but it's not connected. But one word, ganas. It's a spiritual word where a grandma will yell to her granddaughter, échale ganas, mija, when she's singing the mariachi. Or a mom yells, échale ganas, mijo, when he's playing soccer. It's a spiritual word. And that's the kind of life I want with this. It's a lightning round, real quick, other than question number 2. Chris, you're a pro at this, because you've been here just a couple of times on the PGP podcast. So we're going to start off with you, senor. Lead the way. Give advice to a new principal.
Be present and build relationships. They are not transactional, they're transformational.
You read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
When I was serving as a district level administrator, I had a student that was a high school English teacher. When I was a high school English teacher, and I handwrote every student a card to give them words of affirmation before they went to their next grade level. She still had that all these years later when she enrolled her child, to the district where I was working. And so I had tears, she had tears. So I always hold on to that moment.
Eso. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
Dr. Janelle Giamario. We work in collaborative partnership at the university, serving new teachers and new leaders. So grateful for her.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
She was in here earlier, the teal glasses lady, Katie Kinder, right here from Oklahoma. Great PLC partner and bestie of mine.
What would be your fantasy New Year's Day location on Earth?
Anywhere on the beach. I'm just like anywhere where there's warmth, there's sand, there's water, and beach. Yeah, anywhere.
Tell the audience that one-hit wonder that you love to sing.
I love Video Killed the Radio Star by the Bugles. That was a one-hit wonder. And so you'll find me jamming out to it.
Which education movie or education show motivates you?
So as a child, I was addicted to Mr. Holland's Opus. My poor family had to watch it over and over and over and over again. And then as an adult, I've always appreciated Freedom Writers as well.
What book changed your life?
What book changed my life was anything by Patrick Lencioni, but really his around Working Genius. When I kind of read that book several years ago and understood the invention and all this moving piece in my brain, like things started to connect for me. So I encourage anyone to read Lencioni for leadership development.
How can the audience get a hold of you? I know you're very hard to find. I know that. You're very hard to find, sir.
Yeah, you can't find me anywhere.
He lives under a rock.
That's exactly it. All things social media at Dr. Chris Culver, website www.drchrisculver.com. And always looking for new friends, connections, and colleagues along the way. And so thankful to have been a part of this space today.
Thank you.
Look for him on TikTok.
Yes, that's right.
Señorita Jen Black, here we go. Lightning round. Give advice to a new principal.
relationships first, and you've got to be visible on campus, getting to know your staff. So you got to be out there and about.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
So I'd say for my office manager, she wrote me a really meaningful note last spring. We do this with our staff. Periodically, we have them write to a colleague, and she thanked me for my constant support, guidance, and leadership. She said, "You're the puzzle that holds us together. You don't just lead, you inspire. Thank you for your encouragement and with work and personal. You are truly one of a kind."
Nice. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
I want to send these to our Region 1 Superintendent, Lindsay Tomlinson. She's an inspiration to everyone she encounters. She was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, but her positive attitude and warrior spirit will carry her through this fight.
Name one person in the audience you follow on social media.
Well, we already follow Robert, the man. So I would say Mel Robbins, if we want to step it out into a different space, Mel Robbins.
All right. What would be your fantasy New Year's Day location on Earth?
New Zealand.
Tell the audience that one-hit wonder that you love.
8675309. Tommy Two-Tone. Of course, my name is Jennifer, but so is my best friend. So that was one of our most favorite songs back in the day.
Love it. Which education movie or education show motivates you?
I went with The Karate Kid. I just think The Karate Kid is a great example of mentoring, perseverance with integrity and character versus just winning, which is what kids are so much about these days.
What book changed your life?
New Principle, Good to Great by Jim Collins. This book really helped me shape my leadership style because I focused on humility, getting the right people in the right seats, people-centered leadership, obviously, and this sustainable success and not just this flashy success.
You have all these decades under your belt. Before you tap out, how can people get a hold of you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm on X at WildGirl89. I'm also on Instagram. Rocks and Ride Vegas, I believe, is my Instagram handle. So I'm really more active professionally on X.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Let's close out the show. Give advice to a new principal.
Again, just echoing what everybody else said, relationships are absolutely critical. Go in, build those relationships, find a mentor, but I also urge you to get involved too in some kind of association, a school administrators association.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
Ooh, I just, I had a note from a student. Actually, I'll go back to this. When I was an administrator, I would get those notes from kindergarten students, and they would say, "I love you. We love you." Like those were just the best, and I'd hang them on my wall. And so, yeah, I've held on to those.
Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
My wife, she's an educator. She's an assistant principal. She still inspires me every day. She's passionate about students and making a difference in her community. So sending flowers to her.
Name one person in the audience you follow on social media.
Dr. Rob Martinez, Papa Rob. He's got a book, Recipes for Resilience. He's amazing. Former superintendent. You got to follow him.
What will be your fantasy New Year's Day location on Earth?
I'm kind of going with Dr. Culver here. A beach, anywhere on a beach.
Tell the audience that one-hit wonder, you can't stop singing.
You know what? I'm torn on this. I keep thinking about the Macarena, but at the same, that was a one-hit wonder. But here's the deal, though. Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. It's you can't get rid of it.
No, sir. No, sir. Which education movie or education show motivates you?
You know what? I love the movie with the substitute teacher who takes over, becomes inspiring with students. It gets them into music. School of Rock.
What book changed your life?
When I was a student, I was like 17 years old. I read a book, and I hadn't done a whole lot of reading before that, but it's the book. It was MDs telling stories about themselves. For some reason, I connected with that book, and it made me fall in love with reading. I became a reader after that book.
Beautiful. And how can people get a hold of you, listen to your podcast? Let us know.
You can go to theedtalk.com. That's our website. The Education Talk Show. You can go to Google, just type in Education Talk Show, and we're everywhere. You can find us there, and we'd love to have you check out our show.
Thank you, panel. Appreciate it. Great time tonight. And it's not over. It's not over because next week, part two. Part two. We're gonna have the main man. Robert's gonna be here. We all have Adam Lane from Florida, and Jamie Braida will be here joining us to talk more about that beautiful, beautiful book. And out there, remember, folks, you're not alone. You've got all of this free PD for you. You've got the Fantastic Four. You've got all these 4 shows. You've got all of these podcasts. You've got everything on Edutopia, Education Week. It's out there. You just got to make sure you reach out and make a connection, because in education, we're broke. We ain't got money. And if you're broke and you ain't got money, hey, back in the Jurassic period, when I started, you could take like 5 people to a conference in Florida. You could take 5 or 6 people to Las Vegas with 5 or 6 people. That's gone, baby. All of that is gone right now. And it's about test after this test. And you know what? We're all going through it together. It doesn't matter if you're in Maine. It doesn't matter if you're in Florida. If you're in Alaska, if you're in Hawaii or in the 48, we're all going through it together. And we are only stronger together, because you know what? Iron sharpens iron, and we need to stick together and learn from each other so that next day we become better. And if we become better, our scholars become better. And that means that this beautiful country, this beautiful melting pot, becomes even greater than what it is. So thank you for being here tonight. Panel, say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye. Good night.
Bye, everybody. See you next Sunday.
Don't hang up, panel. Don't hang up, panel. Join us next week.